everybody, it's Cynthia from Purgatory Paranormal. I hope you're having a great weekend. Today I'm taking a stroll through a small cemetery I found right in the middle of Bridgeport, Connecticut. Bridgeport, Connecticut is a very busy urban area, and this cemetery is actually a surprise to me. I found it just by putting the word cemetery into my GPS and it popped up. So I'm here, and it seems that most of these graves are of Irish immigrants who came here in the beginning of the 19th century. It's pretty cold outside and the wind is blowing. We had some snow last night, and it's really chilly outside, but you'll see from the pictures what I'm talking about. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this stroll.
We weren't expecting to do a cemetery stroll today, so I didn't have any equipment with me to block the wind, and the sound got pretty intense. This is just a small sample. It got a lot worse. So I decided to voice over this video to save your ears. This is the St. Augustine Cemetery. It inhabits 6 acres of land and lies in the heart of the city of Bridgeport, Connecticut. It opened in the 1860s and was full by 1890. It once had lakefront views, but the lake was drained in the early 1900s, and those views were long ago hidden behind the adjacent edifices. This port city has a storied history. P.T. Barnum would winter his Barnum and Bailey Circus here, as did Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. In addition, this city was the center of industry and manufacturing. That included the building of sewing machines, horse harnesses, locks, firearms, and other items that were exported around the world, beginning their journey from the local docks. On first glance, the cemetery seems sparsely populated by very large monuments that are no longer commonly used. They are few and very far between and seem somewhat out of place in this location. But upon doing just a little research, I found information that stated at least 1,000 and possibly 2,000 folks are actually interred here. So many of these folks passed in and around the mid to late 1800s. It was during that time that the American Civil War took place. Connecticut abolished slavery in 1848. During the war, much of the rifles, cannon, ammunition, and other military material needed were manufactured in Connecticut, and 55,000 men formed into 30 full regiments and flocked to sign up in every town and city in the state. Connecticut casualties from the war included 97 officers and 1,094 enlisted men who were killed in action, 700 men who died from their wounds afterwards, and 3,000 who died from disease. 27 men were executed for crimes including desertion, and more than 400 were reported as missing, most likely the result of being held as prisoners of war. There are stones lying down, and I have a feeling there are a lot more that I can't see under the snow and dirt. In the 1950s, the local church officials ordered many of the stones laid flat over the graves to prevent further damage. Sadly, the cemetery is known to have an over 100 years history of vandalism damage, and at one point was a local dumping ground. There is a documented case in 1890 of what they called a gang of scoundrels who toppled 50 headstones and tore down fencing on the night of May 2nd that year. In this one area, there's a grouping of monuments that almost forms a circle. This is the tallest monument here. It has to be at least 40 feet high. In 2007 and 2008, articles in local papers did result in a chain link fence being installed and the land cleaned up. Now, 12 years later, the entrance gate is gone and the visible monuments sit there silent watch, forgotten by time. The problem with this, like so many of the old cemeteries we visit, is the question of ownership and responsibility. Who will take it on? The original owners are long gone into the ether, and we are left to decide how best to honor the memory of those in their kin that believed they would rest in peace here for eternity.